welcome to the Dual Horizons podcast, where spirituality meets technology today. Today, we're joined by Nancy Gentle Boudrie, a transformative coach and mindfulness expert who has dedicated over 3 decades to the empowering individuals toward fulfillment and inner peace. Nancy merges ancient wisdom with modern digital tools, guiding us through the empowering journey of self-discovery and enlightenment. Join us as we explore the seamless integration of spirituality and technology with Nancy, illuminating path towards a balanced and enriched life. And with no further ado, hello, Nancy. Good morning.
Good morning, Wolf. It's so wonderful to be here.
Thank you so much for joining. So why don't you tell everybody about your life's mission and how you started, and let's start there.
Awesome. I really came Awaken with Light, which is the name of my business, really started as a personal journey, like most people who stumble into this kind of profession, from my own battles with stress and managing my stress. I owned a 7-figure insurance agency with multiple locations and was trying to navigate life, being a mother, being a wife, being active in my community, a daughter, all the above, and being the proverbial people pleaser. So wanting to do everything, what everybody wanted me to do, what everybody expected me to do, what I expected myself to do. So high achiever, all this was the perfect storm. And I started having some physicality in the body, and things started to not be as healthy. I had adrenal fatigue. I had all kinds of chronic pain. And every time I would go to the doctor to try to figure out what was wrong, it would always come back to stress. And then they said, what are your stress levels like? And I'm like, well, doesn't everybody have high stress? I mean, I'm running a business. I've got this whole, all these things. And that's what really started me looking in. All they wanted to do was hand me a pill. And they said, here, why don't you just start some type of anti-anxiety? Maybe let's see if we can manage the stress this way. And I didn't want to do that. And really, I said, well, what do you suggest other than a pill? And they really didn't have anything. She just suggested yoga. Now, this would have been about, early 1990s. And here in the United States, we weren't really cutting edge, and especially not on the East Coast, which is where I live. And so I did go to a yoga class, and that was eye-opening. How much they could get, from a yoga pose, what she was telling us, and how to really connect to our bodies. I really realized I was disconnected from my body, right. Disconnected from the physical sensations, the emotions, that, it was all this stuff. So really started diving into the yoga, Reiki, meditation, and realized that I was onto something. And the entrepreneur in me then wanted to share it with the world. Teach other people instead of popping a pill. Let's learn how to manage your stress levels. Let's awaken the light within you to live your optimum best. And my tagline is create a life by design, not one of default. So I was in that mode of just, like the zombie from Walking Dead or something. And I was in default mode. And instead I wanted to create a life I wanted to live with purpose and passion. And that's how Awaken with Light came to be.
Beautiful. So how do you integrate mindfulness practices into your daily life?
Every morning I start with a centering exercise, whether it's a breath exercise without any guided or guided. I love mindful.org. They have on Spotify, they have a channel. I also have some cards that they have, and you scan and it has somebody guide you through an exercise. But every day there's some type of centering exercise that I do. And I love vibrational music, frequencies. So I will always play frequency. There's probably I'm talking about a half hour. So some of it is guided, or some of it is in stillness, journaling. I'm big on writing my thoughts, my affirmations. Really, I interviewed a woman named Julia Cameron years ago, and she wrote The Artist Way, and she talks about morning pages. So it got me kind of started on writing just whatever I wanted to get out for that day.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I start my day before I even do anything else.
Yeah. Now, I mean, obviously, you work with individuals, with corporate executive people. They're really like on that busy life schedule and work schedule. How do you teach them, or what kind of challenges do you see when it comes down to creating more inner peace?
Yeah, well, this is exactly it. We're pulled in so many directions. So when I'm working with individuals, we start with if you can just carve out 10 minutes to start your day and end your day. And then telling them the power of that. It's about building mindful muscle. We're good at things we practice often. So the more you practice a skill like mindfulness, you can get stronger at it, quieting the amygdala, the fight flight response, and activating the prefrontal cortex, or the re this frontal part of the brain that gets out of that fight flight, that reactionary, and gets into a more of a responsive. So I teach people how to utilize skills like mindfulness to help them navigate all the push and pull and stressors of their challenging lives.
Right. And you do that through individual sessions. You also do group sessions. Give us a little bit of an idea
Sure.
on your platform and how you reach people and teach.
Sure. Um, my primary product is a one-on-one coaching. I work with business professionals, and they get very hands-on. I give them personalized recordings that we're talking about, and it's very in-depth work. I also have worked with teams and groups as well, and done a lot of corporate speaking in this arena as well.
I see. Okay. And then you also do a lot of inspirational work when it comes down to women battling breast cancer. You do some volunteer work, right? So
Yeah.
that seems to me very inspiring. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. I'll tell you, energy work is one of the most wonderful things that you can expose somebody who's battling chemo, radiation, anything that is involved in the physical body. Reiki is a powerful tool to clear the mental and emotional traumas on a cellular level and accelerate healing in the body. And many people aren't even aware of it or understand what it is. I've been very fortunate to be involved with the Unite for Her organization, and they expose women battling breast cancer to these types of modalities, if you will, and
Okay.
showing them how it can help them navigate the treatment of their cancer. But Reiki is also very, very helpful in maintaining your own wellness. So I encourage people all the time, and we can do it long distance or you do it in person. But it's a very powerful tool to help people really find that center, to find that sense of balance, and it's working from the inside out.
Yeah, and I think it's so fascinating, especially when we talk about Reiki, because I, for a long time, was under the assumption, okay, this is energy, body healing work that needs to be done, obviously in close proximity by literally having your hand over somebody's body just a few inches away. But then I'm realizing, no, there's also long distance Reiki healing, like you're just describing, and we can
Exactly.
use technology, we can use Zoom meetings or whatever technology you want to connect with somebody to do that, right?
That's correct. And that's what the power COVID gave us here in Pennsylvania, where I am. I couldn't come into my office. They literally locked us out and said you weren't allowed to come in. You'd be highly fined if you tried to go in. So you were forced to do it all by virtual, Zoom or whatever. But what I found is that it really helped people cultivate their own intuition, their own connection to that higher state of being, because they couldn't rely on the power of touch. They had to
Mm.
just rely on this verbal. We both be in stillness with our eyes closed, and people would have profound experiences. One even opened up her eyes. She took a picture, I have a screenshot, and she literally saw me in a purple like column of light that
Mm-hmm.
showed up because of the
Wow.
powerful work we were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how it sometimes teaches us that, we're all one. Everything is connected. Everything is connected, frequency and energy. And, we're able to do such beautiful things, even if it means that we cannot be physically together and be able to reach more people, therefore.
Yeah, it is. It's just opening up that mind. And I remember meditating. I'm involved with a lot of group meditations and that kind of thing. And still to this day do it. And I think it's really helps again building that mindful muscle, that I was talking about. You're
Right,
building your intuition. I can actually almost feel the presence of people when you're in a group setting and you're all creating that energy. It's quite profound if you're open to
right.
allowing and not kind of second guessing yourself or having self-doubt. That's the thing that gets in the way there.
Yeah. So, reflecting on your 3 decades of experience, what kind of tips do you have in regards of creating that inner peace and helping to really kind of align ourselves with something that's more relating to self-love and fulfillment?
It is all about cultivating that relationship with self. We are such a society of inner criticism. We're hard on ourselves. It's learning to truly embrace an unconditional love for this beautiful body you've been given, the mind you've been given. And that's a hard thing for people to wrap their hands around because we're so used to being so harsh on ourselves. But I think that's the first thing to inner peace is finding that space where you accept and allow whatever emotion you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing. And when we turn and you actually say stuff like you talk to yourself like you would a dear friend, I see you, I hear you, and I honor you, and I love you just the way you are. When you start
Hmm.
to cultivate that kind of relationship with yourself, you start to find that edginess and all that starts to drop away. You can find that sense of equanimity, balance, and peace. But it all starts with self-love, and self-care, making yourself important enough to take the time to cultivate such a practice.
Right. When we're speaking about, in a sense, creating your own personal mantras that
Mhm.
allow us to kind of like center ourselves and find our self-worth, rather than always like being so hard on ourselves. I think that's especially when we're dealing with you know in an executive positions, people are having responsibilities and dealing with stress, to really come and self-reflect in and creating these personal mantras, I think is so important.
So important. And every dynamic has something to teach you about yourself. So it's like you want to just stop and reflect. If you're in a situation that's really irritating you or frustrating you, you want to take that pause and really mindfulness teaches you to be that witness to what's occurring. Try to get out from underneath the emotional current of it, the attachment to wanting a specific outcome or expecting a specific outcome, and instead observing it and then noticing how you're responding or reacting and encouraging yourself to take the pause. So I call it, it's stop. The S stands for stop. T, take a breath, observe, and then purposely proceed. So you're really trying to build a relationship of getting out of being triggered and taking things so personally, which we all
Right.
we all do.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, great information. And I think people, if you need more guidance, you need more help, please, I encourage you to reach out to Nancy. Tell everybody how they can reach you on your website or social.
Sure. My website is Awaken with Light. That's AwakenWithLight.com. I'm also active on LinkedIn primarily. I'm also on Facebook, Awaken with Light, and Instagram. But LinkedIn is probably my most my playground.
Great. Awesome. Thank you
Oh, and
so
I do
much,
have a
Nancy.
YouTube. I do
Oh,
have a
then YouTube.
YouTube
Okay.
channel. That's right. And there's lots of videos there and lots of free meditations and all kinds of things on YouTube.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Nancy. I really appreciate. Any closing thoughts before I let you go?
I think no. I think everybody. I think the beautiful thing about this digital age that we're in, you have a plethora of apps that you can go to. You have YouTube. You have so many places to gather information and to utilize tools and techniques that are at your fingertips. So we're not isolated beings. You actually have access to something. So reach
Right.
out to professionals like myself. Go find their free material, follow them, see if there's somebody that you want to be mentored by. But that's what I would encourage. There's just such a plethora of things out there now
Right.
on the web and through this digital age that we've created.
Exactly. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Nancy. I appreciate your time. Until the next time. Thank you so much.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.